And we're back in a drawdown. And I wonder why. Today has been a really BS day for me. And you know why the reason is because this trade was originally meant to be a buy. And my dumbass decided to take sells because I got fed up with price action. We were on the chart since this morning at 9 a.m. for London. And I was originally looking for sells here, but we never got the confirmation back to the area that I originally wanted. We didn't have liquidity grab. So price action didn't validate me to get in. So this morning's session actually was all to plan. We didn't get a validation, therefore we didn't enter. It makes sense. And then coming into New York, we had, I think it was ADP. No, it wasn't ADP. It was producer price index. All good numbers. Makes sense. Price action pulls down. So when we approached the charts, we understood that price action is overall very bearish for the day. We look and zoom out on the daily time frame. We know that the daily is very bearish. We had the past 2 days in a massive range. We're expecting some form of push. Tonight is FOMC, so you got the Fed decision rate incoming this evening as well, which means there's going to be a lot of speculation. There's going to be a lot of orders that are just waiting for confirmation on the Fed. We kind of already know that the bias is just going to keep rate cuts flat because of the ongoing situation geopolitically wise with the war. But aside from that, it doesn't really play too much of an impact on the fundamentals and the analysis that I'm doing on the charts, my breakdown on price. So what made me get into this sell? Well, honestly, it was just the 5. The 5 started giving you closures below, and this is my liquidity area for buys up. I marked out liquidity areas, it got filled, price action started to break up, and then this is an area where I said, okay, well, the first 5 minute on the 130 is giving you a candle closure respecting this 486.2 as a resistance, which means that price action should technically pop down. That's the only confirmation I had going on, because when you look at the plan, sure, you've got the current range. The current range is 48.61 to 47.03, but you don't really have a specific closure that actually closed you below, which again is a question that I'm asking myself. Why did I enter this trade? I actually entered based off of this 5 minute. So you had the 5 minute time frame here close you out, and you're looking at top wick, break of the lows of the 5 to then give you a break of the lows of the 30 for then price to continue coming down. That was the original thought process if I was to take sells. And unfortunately for me, that just completely was wrong. So when price action started pushing up, it made sense. I accounted for this. It was a 4-hour top wick because the 4-hour at the time didn't have a top wick retest. And I accounted for that. I thought I was being smart, but what I forgot was I don't enter a trade if I don't have the narrative. And we didn't have a narrative on the 4. We didn't have a narrative on the 1. We only had technically a mirror on price action, which even the mirror on price action, look, I even marked it out. It's for buys, not sells. So it's incredibly frustrating for me because I think that I've put myself in the wrong footing here. Like, I've actually self-sabotaged myself. So it is incredibly frustrating. It's been a frustrating couple of days. I haven't had very many trades, and the trades that I've taken, as you can see, we've all been losses. It's three losses in a row. That's equating to a minus $594. That's a minus 495 pips. And it's all because of silly mistakes. It's all because of I'm taking rebreak at highs without closures, or I'm pivoting my bias too quickly without thinking about all of the confirmations or developing narrative in this case. So it's another lesson learned. It's very straightforward when you think about it. It has to do with patience. Today always has to do with patience and thinking with validations. Either I am validated in a trade or I am not validated in a trade. This was not a validity at all. It wasn't even to plan. I'm showcasing this because every single journey isn't just going to be all green, right? There's going to be embarrassing moments such as this where now I'm looking at myself saying, why the fuck did I take this trade position? Sure, one candle closure on the 15, one candle closure on the 30, bearish, but respecting, might I add. It was just the 5 minute that threw me off, and I just completely used all of my bias on the 5 without regarding anything on the higher time frame. And what's really going to piss me off is if price action now grabs this. So if I was in a buy, you'd have a buy at this area, price action to then take advantage of the flip, which is your risk off area, and then price action full TP at 49.07. If price action pushes you back down and gives you a closure below to then continue rebreaking the lows of the 4, I'd be pissed. Why? Because that was my original trade position. But you have to think about it. it's not the same trade position because you didn't have a validity where you entered. You have a validity now. So if price action came down to retest, close you back above, respect this as a resistance at 48.60 to then push down, that's the validation of the trade that you originally wanted. But I'm done for the day. I've taken one massive freaking loss, and I'm done. So things got heated in the moment. When I'm looking at price action from the moment I entered, I said, wait a second, this is a little bit shit. And then when we had the perspective of the hour, like even this, if you were to take sells, you'd require a closure of the candle below, the body of the candle, the wick of the current candle, closing below the previous wick of the low, which you'll have to wait again. And it's already past New York Open, it's past COMEX Open, you've got the majority of volatility, and you failed to take advantage of the push that you actually wanted. So missed out a load of opportunities today. It's just a straight push down. One thing I have to completely understand is always trade with the trend. But even that being said, if you look at the trend, there is no fucking trend. It's literally just range and range and range and range and range. There is no actual trend on the higher time frame at all. You'll like to see typically a market move like this, then you'll be understanding that yes, there'll be some form of retracement. Whereas here, you don't really have too much of that. You didn't have proper pullbacks, price threw me off. We even marked out the correct levels for liquidity to get grabbed. This is an order magnet. You'd be looking for buys, not sells. However, I pivoted in the spur of the moment. And again, mistakes like this happen. That's the reason why I'm publishing it, is for my own sake and for your sake. Things like this happen, and all it does is try and make you better. And I hope this makes me better because I'm extremely frustrated. I was back to break even on my account for my challenge, and yeah, we're fuck off back into drawdown. So that's that. We will come back again tomorrow, see what we have on the charts for Thursday. But remember, validities always. Don't try and fuck shit up by thinking about taking a trade, considering, oh, maybe this didn't happen, but that's okay, we can mitigate this on that. No. Facts are facts. Logic is logic. Take the fucking trade if it's validated. If it's not validated, then sit the fuck back.